The bullet almost killed him. On Sunday, there was an assassination attempt on Donald Trump during a speech. Finally, the German government, the BKA, they sold all of their bitcoins. The only thing left now is empty gox. Right now, we still have a massive unfilled CME gap. Alright guys, welcome to a new video. If you're new here, make sure you subscribe and hit the ring bell so you don't miss any important urgent update videos. Today is a really important day, and that's why I have two teas today. Number one, I have a black tea, and also I have a ginger tea in a red cup, aka mug. Also, get a drink yourself, smash the like button for the algorithm, and let's start right away. First of all, something very drastic happened. On Sunday, there was an assassination attempt on Donald Trump during a speech. The bullet almost killed him. However, during his speech, he actually turned his head to the side, and that's why he only got hit on the ear and not through the head. Now, this here was a very close call, and Bitcoin reacted right away, because when he got hit, Bitcoin actually dumped here by 0.6% as a panic, because Trump, of course, is pro-Bitcoin. Now, if Trump was not there, the only person left was, first of all, Biden. And Biden, as we know, is not pro-Bitcoin and against crypto. That's why, of course, here the price dumped. But immediately, when the news came out that he's okay and only injured, that's when the price pumped by 2.5% right away. And the crazy part is, although the attempt was so recent, he will still continue to speak on the Bitcoin conference this month. So imagine you almost die and you still go to all your meetings as planned. I'm also interested what you guys think. So comment down below your opinion on all of this. I just think it's incredible. Now, the next part here is really nice. Finally, the German government, the BKA, they sold all of their Bitcoins. Now, as we know, they did not do a good job in handling this. They just dumped them without any system, without strategy, just on the market, and they even destroyed their own selling price. They just went to regular exchanges and just simply clicked the sell button on a large order all the time. Now, after they sold, they of course had zero, but now they have again $400 something, because some people actually donated Bitcoins to the government. And there was one guy, very creative, he sent a message in the transaction, HFSP German government, which means have fun staying poor, German government. Now, this of course is a joke, but it is very creative. And the interesting thing is that the German government actually, by law, they had to sell the Bitcoins, because those were confiscated Bitcoin from the website Movie 2K, so they have to sell by law. However, the manner in which they sell, they could have done this a lot better. If they really wanted to, they could have held on the Bitcoins on for way longer and got a way better selling price, and also they could have sold them OTC, etc, etc. So for example, countries like El Salvador, which actually is a tiny country, as you can see here below Mexico, they have a Bitcoin portfolio. This is a country, and they have a Bitcoin portfolio, and it's growing. It's right now sitting at $200 million value. I think there will be way more countries, step by step, who will also have their own portfolio, who will buy Bitcoin as part of their reserves strategy, because as you guys know, the fiat system, aka euro, pound, dollar, they're all getting inflated, and the value eventually will go to zero. However, Bitcoin is solving this, because Bitcoin is limited, and this country is smart, and they recognize immediately. So I think sooner or later, more and more countries will actually also buy Bitcoin, because the pressure is increasing, and this is a smart hedge to have. The only thing left now is empty gox, and they currently have $8.7 billion of Bitcoin, and they're preparing right now to pay them back to their creditors. Now, not everyone will sell them, but I think around 1/4 to maybe 1/3 of the people who get paid back all those Bitcoins, which they could not access for many years, will actually sell them and realize their wins. However, I think that those people who get their Bitcoins will do this in a way smarter manner, and also step by step and in stages, and maybe even also OTC, many of them. So in my opinion, this now is no longer a big risk. On Friday, we got another day of amazing inflows, and in my opinion, this will only accelerate and increase, and sooner or later, those inflows will be massive like this, or even bigger, like up here. So they have to update the chart. Now, we have something very serious, because over the weekend, we had a very nice Bitcoin pump. And along with this, we have many new long positions with leverage, which got opened right here. Now, this here is a lot of longs, and they are big prey, aka target, for market makers to liquidate. There's one more big risk, but first of all, on the daily chart, we finally got our close here above the 200 EMA right here. Now, this here is really important, because the 200 EMA is very important support in a bull run. On the 4-hour chart, we have our rising pennant, and we had our breakout here Sunday night, aka Monday early morning. Now, the target of this pennant here is number one up here, and we have two targets. One would be the conservative target, 66.4k, and the bit more ambitious target would be up here at 67.700. This here is the exact area where we also have the potential opposite retest of our daily chart rising wedge. Now this here is a really important resistance trend line, which we essentially have to get above and then retest to finally claim all those shorts up here. But sooner or later, we will pick them up. The question is not if, the question is when. And the only big downside target is number one here, this 50k target, which is the same level from February, because we have lots of longs which are still laying here. Before I will cover all the scenarios, we have to look at one more thing. Right now, we still have a massive unfilled CME gap. For everyone who's new here, CME just stands for Chicago Mercantile Exchange. That's the traditional futures exchange. And that's where all the hedge funds and smart money people also trade Bitcoin and other assets. Now, this exchange is only trading from Monday to Friday. So Friday night, the price closed here, and over the weekend, the price was rising. Now, those people trading on this exchange could not participate, so they essentially got left out, which means many unleft orders from big players. Most of the time, not all the time, but most of the time, they do get filled, and mostly sooner than later. There are a few examples of medium to large CME gaps which did not get filled. However, most of them statistically actually get filled. And this one is a massive one. Normally, they are very small, and we didn't have a big one like this in a long time. We actually had one just not so recently ago, which was right here, gap from here to here, one bullish candle. Right after what happens, we fill the gap. Now, as you can see here, the last one was also very tiny, but this one is a huge one. The other thing, which is very concerning, this massive pump over the weekend came hand in hand with lots of new open interest, which means what? As the price rised more and more, many new people opened leveraged longs. And of course, this here is big prey, and this here also is a big magnet for market makers to target. That's also why on the liquidation chart, I showed you this massive yellow stripe, because those here are all those brand new immature long positions. Now, we have to keep an eye on two very important levels. Number one, this resistance zone right here, which we are in right now. And number two, the opposite trend line, aka the target of our rising pennant. If we get a bounce here or a bounce here, in either case, we either get support here on the top trend line for a new long trade with a very good risk reward, or worst case, if we don't hold this trend line, which we actually can extend a little bit now, like this here, then we will most likely fill this big CME gap, also liquidate all those longs, like I said right here. And this really is a big confluence that we have actually not that often. For everyone who's new here, there are 3 entries on how you can trade these patterns. Number one here, that's what actually most people do, and that's where you get the most losses and the most fake outs, which is actually the breakout. So this here is the breakout candle of this pennant, and many times you actually get a fake out. That's why I generally speaking don't recommend this setup. Now, the way better setup is either after a breakout, a retest. Like I said, we have 2 levels. Number one, this level here, and also our opposite trend line retest of this right here. Or even better for risk reward is again on the bottom or top trend line. So for example, right here, we had one low, second low. You connect those 2 lows with a line, and right here we have our legendary advancing wicks pattern. Now this setup and the LSOB reversal, they are the 2 most consistent setups in the whole world. The win rate of this is completely ridiculous. So for example here, we had our advancing wicks pattern, and by the way, you can learn this and trade this on any time frame and any coin. Because the issue is, even though this setup is insanely good, you might miss trades, because for example, this is the 4-hour chart, and you might sleep or you might not be on the chart. And if you want to trade this on a smaller time frame, you get this setup many more times per hour and also per day. Now, if you have the time and the patience, you can sit through this and get very nice, super high win rate setups. If you want to learn this, you can watch this video right up here. Now, I want to cover one more thing, because this week we might have the first Ethereum spot ETF trading. Now, first of all, also we had the same pump just like Bitcoin over the weekend, and the same thing, lots of new open interest right here, which means lots of brand new leveraged long positions. And also the RSI right now is in overbought territory, which means what? Which means we are very overextended and a pullback is very likely. Now, for this pullback, we number one have here this trend line here, because this trend line here is the most important support for Ethereum for a long time. And sadly, with regret, we broke down here. Now we might close above again here in the next 6.5 hours, and then we must get the opposite retest of here, and then this would give us very good confidence to target all those highs here. So if you're not in an Ethereum swing long yet, I would observe what Ethereum is doing on this trend line if we come back here, and that would be a very good entry for a long-term swing trade with a very high risk reward. And this also perfectly together with our big fair value gap right here. Now, worst case scenarios, if we come here and fake out, there's also one more fair value gap right here, and this might be also a retest together with the 50 EMA like this. Now I have to hurry up because I have a flight back to Dubai in just 2 hours. In the meantime, you can watch either this video or this video. Leave a like if you enjoy these quick updates. Thank you so much for your instant support. I will see you in the next video. Peace.